heißt Fructose, also Fruchtzucker, und gehört zu den Einfachzuckern. Als Einfachzucker solltest du nun eigentlich ein wenig Abstand davon nehmen. Aber Obst hat in seiner Schale und den Zellwänden enorm viele Ballaststoffe. Daher erhöht Fruchtzucker aus Obst den Blutzucker auch langsamer. Lässt du das Fruchtfleisch weg, weil du nur den Saft trinkst, entfällt übrigens dieser Effekt, weswegen es immer besser ist, Früchte zu essen, als deren Saft zu trinken. Da ist nämlich fast nur nicht Fruchtzucker drin. Und dann kannst du theoretisch auch Cola trinken. Now, moving on to one of the chapters that really speaks to me, and I think it's absolutely true. Wer abnehmen will, muss essen. And I think that is something that speaks to me because I love eating, I love food, obviously. But I think a long-term weight loss is not about starving yourself. It's about eating the right things and in the right quantities. And so she talks about that aspect of it, but she also talks about the fact that you need to cherish and value yourself to do good by yourself. So there's one sentence in this chapter which is not really to do with eating, but I really like it because I think we should all celebrate and have that mantra. Mir sagt man heute nach, ich hielte viel von mir. Das stimmt sogar. Allerdings bin ich der Meinung, dass jeder von uns, du vor allem, du schönes Geschöpf mit dem Buch in der Hand, viel von sich halten sollte. And I can't agree more with that. It's so true, because unless you value yourself and you value time invested in yourself, i.e. every time you exercise, you invest time in yourself and effort. If you don't value yourself to do that, you're not going to do it probably. And that's one thing I had to realize and something I had the luxury to just do when I lost my job. I could just focus on me. I had all this time that I could just focus in on myself and do right by myself. I think you need to find things to love about yourself to make you willing to put the effort in and to do well by yourself, do right by yourself. Because at the end of the day, the only person hurt by shoveling in fast food or a box of cookies or a bar of chocolate, I hurt me when I do that. Me only, that's it. I don't hurt any of you guys. I don't hurt my husband. I don't hurt my family. I hurt my body that's been carrying me around for 30-something years now on this earth successfully. Well, why would I do that? Like, why? It doesn't make sense. So, yeah, I think that's a huge, huge point here. And then she goes on in the same chapter with this sentence. Ich weiß nach all der Zeit um meine Schwächen. Hand aufs Herz, was sind deine? Die gilt es zu finden und dann, das ist so wichtig, nicht länger zu ignorieren, sondern mit ihnen zu arbeiten. And funny enough, my job search over the summer has actually helped me with that, because you know one of the hardest interview questions is, what are your weaknesses, what are your strengths? And while it's fairly easy, at least for me, it's fairly easy to come up with strengths, it's very hard for me to come up with weaknesses and admit to myself that I have weaknesses. And I do. Every human being does. We're strong at some things, worse at others. And as far as weight loss goes, I think that's even more important, because how can you help yourself fix your issues if you don't know what they are? And for example, with emotional eating, the video I made about my sugar addiction, the way I was able to fix my sugar addiction is to know what sets off my binge, when do I eat sugar. And my conclusion was when I'm happy, when I'm sad, when it's emotionally peaking. So emotional eating, right? But I had to figure out that it was the sugar. What do I go to in those situations? It's sugary food, so I stopped it. And I started treating it like heroin. And I think it's important to really figure out what is your weakness food-wise, and maybe not eat it ever again, or figure out a way to control it somehow, and work with that. All right, moving on to, am I still in the same chapter? I think I am. Yeah. Who wants to lose weight must eat. Still the same chapter. Now I'm on page 163. So we're making headway. We're about halfway through. This paragraph here, she talks about how she got started on exercising and eating right and everything. And then there's one paragraph. Ich ging diese verdammten Stufen und wog ab und schrieb auf und nahm zu. Ich nahm doch tatsächlich zu. Ich war fuchsteufelswild. Dreckselendiger Mistsack. Meine erste Reaktion darauf, wie nicht anders zu erwarten, alles hinzuwerfen. War alles hinzuwerfen. Aber was genau wäre meine Alternative gewesen? Wohin gehst du, wenn du mit deinem Arsch schon an der Wand stehst und dir eine Knarre auf die Stirn gedrückt wird? Basically, the way I read this paragraph is she's really reached rock bottom and she really wanted to do this and fix it. She didn't do the surgery and so she had to go on. But I think this is just a statement of perseverance and of consistency and continuing it on. And I think if I'm comparing my current journey of weight loss to every previous attempt, it's the lack of keeping going that really screwed it up, obviously, because I wouldn't be here at this weight if I had succeeded. But yeah, I think that's the most important thing, to just continue, not let an initial weight gain get to you. And this is actually a very poignant statement for me this week, because this month of September I want to really ramp up my exercise and do more intensive exercise, and I gain weight instantly when I do more intensive exercise. I know it's not weight gain, I do know that scientifically speaking, but it still does a trick on me, mentally speaking. And in the same chapter there is another sentence that I think is amazing and very encouraging. Du bist nicht das Problem, du bist die Lösung. Und du bist nicht allein, wir sind mindestens schon zwei. And I think that is, I've said this in many of my previous videos myself, that it's up to you to make the change. It's up to you to decide to prioritize your body and do something about it. And I really think that you may have been the problem thus far, or you may have had baggage with you that were the problem that caused you to be this way, but you are most definitely the solution, like she says, to make a change and to do better by you. And let's move on to this chapter. Problemzone, Badeanzug. This chapter is all about swimming when you're obese, and she makes a really good and compelling argument as to why you shouldn't worry about wearing a bathing suit, because the benefits of swimming are so exceptional for an obese person. There's no impact on your joints, and you can feel like a ballerina in water. Let me tell you, I do that every time I go to the pool. So there's one sentence here that really puts it on a point, very concisely. Also, geh ruhig ins Schwimmbad und hör auf, dich so schrecklich zu schämen. Nur weil du glaubst, im Badeanzug dick auszusehen. Du siehst auch in Straßenklamotten dick aus. Und wenn du dich nicht wohlfühlst, dann musst du etwas ändern. And I think that comparison she makes about how you're big no matter what, because you're big. You carry your weight on the outside of your body. So whether you wear a bathing suit or regular clothes, it doesn't make a difference at all. You'll still look big, people will still see that you're big. And I think that is a train of thought that might help people get over that hump of not wanting to be seen in the bathing suit. Because at the end of the day, for one thing, everybody's in a bathing suit at a pool. And no, you're not going to a perfect runway model pool. You're going to a pool with regular people. There will be people of various sizes, various body shapes, various disabilities at times, and people that have other, I can't think of a good word, but I guess abnormalities on their bodies, whether you're big, really skinny, you're missing a limb, or you have spots or anything like that. I think in the pool environment, who cares? Just go. If swimming makes you good and you know that you like swimming, go swimming. And whenever I read or have someone tell me that they're afraid to go to the pool because they feel so self-conscious at being in a bathing suit, I want to just grab them by the hand. And the thing is, it's often people that are much lighter than me that actually have a fairly good figure and that shouldn't have to worry about it. I just want to grab them and say, okay, I'll be your fat buddy, your fat exercise buddy, to go to the pool and make you feel better about yourself. Because people will probably stare at me if we go there, you know? And at the end of the day, these are strangers at the pool. They're not there to what they think is none of your business, and you don't have to worry about that. Really, you can just not care. Absolutely. And the fact of the matter is, you're going to a pool to exercise, so chances are some people might even think, oh, great for this big woman for going here and doing this and exercising and doing something. You don't know, because you can't read minds, so don't worry about it. Worry is one of the most useless things to do in life, and trust me, I'm a master at it. I'm really good at worrying, So I have to consciously always rail myself back or rein myself in when I worry too much, because worry is just thoughts, overthinking things that don't need to be overthought most of the time, and that can prevent you from doing things. So go swim if you want to swim. If you don't want to swim, don't go swim. But don't let feeling insecure in a bathing suit keep you from swimming and having fun, and maybe go swimming with your kids, your husband, or a friend. Go with a friend. Bring someone along so you can focus on her or on him as you walk into the pool and have a chat, and not worry about the people around you. It's so worth it. It really is. Now, let's move on to the next chapter. I think that I'm feeling like I have skipped a chapter. Have I? No, I have not. I found it. Brilliant title, by the way. Scheiß auf Motivation, nimm das Einhorn. And in this chapter she talks about motivation, and how motivation can be a really flaky body. Because if I think of myself, I don't feel motivated every single day to do something. So really planning and doing, and determination and consistency and discipline are really more important than motivation. The motivation is huge, and it makes it a lot easier to be motivated to do this weight loss thing, to exercise, to eat right when you're motivated. But motivation is flaky. It's not always there, not every single day. And the one way she puts it in perspective and makes that differentiation between your daily feelings and emotions and the overarching big weight loss goal that you have over your head that should affect your life on a daily basis, but sometimes gets forgotten. So the way she writes it here: An deinem Ziel allerdings ändert dein Tagesgefühl nichts. Dein Ziel bleibt dein Ziel, es steht irgendwo und wartet auf dich wie ein angeleintes Hundebaby mit traurigen Kulleraugen. Du wirst doch nicht das Hundebaby warten lassen, oder? And I love this metaphor. If you imagine your weight loss goal as a cute little puppy that's just looking at you with those little glossy eyes. And I think what helped me is to really to train my own brain through repetition and telling myself over and over, making myself aware, and have that be an active thought when the situation occurs, to remember my overarching goal when I have a day that's just not that great. And I had a situation the other day. I came home from, where did I come from? I think I came from an interview, and first I just had this thought where I'm like, oh, I don't feel like any of my usual food. I don't feel like salad. I don't feel like pasta. I had a lot of food at home that I could eat, yummy vegetarian food. But I was like, oh, I want something exciting. And all the thoughts went to like cheesy lasagna, cheesy this, and Magnum ice cream. And I was this close to going to the corner store and buying a Magnum. I'm like, okay, no, because this will not help my overarching goal. And this is one of the first times where I consciously am aware and I remember that I had that thought where I'm like, yeah, I know I feel this right now in this second and this particular day, but this will hamper my overarching goal. So no, I'm not going to give in to this little feeling that I have right now. I'm just going to deal with it. I was literally just bored with food. Can you believe it? And but I didn't get the ice cream. And I think that's what she's also trying to say with this is your overarching goal will not disappear, but think of the long-term effects of that you will have by the decisions you make on a day-to-day basis. And then there's another section here where she talks about what motivation is good and how you should motivate yourself and how it's effective to motivate yourself. And so there's a whole paragraph here. Nimm dir nicht vor, etwas zu ändern und halte dann alles möglichst schön vage und schwammig. Ich möchte nicht mehr dick sein. Reicht als Motivation nie lange genug aus, weil es einfach viel zu unklar formuliert und halbherzig ist. Frage dich stattdessen, ob du noch immer abnehmen wollen würdest, wenn du ab morgen in einer Welt lebtest, in der deine Figur das absolute Ideal wäre. Wenn die Antwort darauf Ja lautet, dann verrate dir und mir, warum das so ist. And this goes back to what I mentioned earlier about figuring out the mental aspects of weight loss and the psychological baggage or history that you bring into this, and takes it forward. Because when you try to lose weight, And I'm guilty of the first part of this statement, you know, keeping it nice and vague so you don't really have to commit to it. Because when you actually put a number to it, or you put a specific, tangible, measurable goal to it, it makes it more real. You have to commit. It's not just this thing that you do on the side, kind of half-heartedly. That is why I love numbers so much. That is why I check my calories, why I check my deficits, why I measure my body every single week. Because I want to know if I'm making progress, and I want to be able to measure it and tangibly see it on my spreadsheet. Because I want to do this. Trust yourself to do it. If you want to really do it, figure out a goal and work towards it. It actually will make it much easier, in my opinion, to know what your goal is and have something to work towards. And it also gives you a perspective of where you could be if you continue your current pace or your current activity level and your commitment. And that in and of itself is motivating. It's motivation that keeps on giving. It's long term. And the question as to whether you would still want to lose weight if you are actually, your body is the ideal body shape in the world, that's a good one to ask, actually, because that will really get to the reasons of why you want to do this, the real reasons, not the superficial ones, I think. And I think this is my last section that I want to talk about. Yes, it is. Still in the unicorn section. And this is amazing. I love this one. And it applies to binge eating and that. Fressanfälle sind ein Märchen. Es überkommt dich nicht. Du stehst auf, gehst in die Küche, öffnest Schränke, holst etwas heraus und isst. Das ist kein Anfall, das ist eine Entscheidung. Und zwar eine, die du jedes Mal aufs Neue bereust. Reue bringt dich aber nicht weiter und das Gefühl von Schuld auch nicht. Du musst anfangen, ehrlich zu sein und dich zu entscheiden. And I don't know if my subconscious brought it to my subconscious mind, because I said something very similar in my binge video. When you're binging, you're actively doing it. Nobody's putting food down your throat. You make the decision to eat all that stuff, and to stop mid-binge, that's really the goal, and to stop the binge altogether and just feel the emotion that got you there in the first place. I think that's really the ultimate goal here. Because if we can't get that under control somehow, or the causes behind that lead to the binging, it makes it a bit hard. So I really like that. And I think this just really, if you've never thought about this aspect of a binge, I think this really helps to be conscious of this. And then the last sentence, tu nicht so, als wärest du das arme Opfer, sondern sei mutig und triff eine Entscheidung zu deinen Gunsten. So choose you and choose well for you. And I think that's absolutely true. So this is it for my book review of this amazing book. I read through this in about a week while I was in Switzerland, and I remember my mom had asked me if she could have it after I was done with it, but I was like, no, I want to keep it because it's got awesome messages in it and awesome advice and wisdom. So yeah, if you do speak German, go get the book. It's really worthwhile to read this, and it's great to have someone like this share their story and share the science behind weight loss and some of the medical aspects of it as well, and to do it in a brutally honest and humorous way. So I can only recommend this book. I'm not sure if it's available in English, but I hope that I was able to convey some of the messages from this book to you, and that was that. If you think any of this spoke to you, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Other than that, I hope you are having a fantastic week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!